I'm here with Amy Oppenheimer, who is executive director of an organization called Bat Melech. Amy, I find the work that you're doing so moving, so incredibly moving. Can you tell our audience what exactly Bat Melech is?
Sure. Bat Melech is the International Jewish Women's Shelter. We have victims of domestic violence from all over the world who come and stay with us for a period of 3 to 6 months, sometimes longer. When they're with us, they go through a period, a process of rehabilitation, therapy, child therapy. We also offer child care, legal advocacy when it comes to custody issues, and going to the religious court and civil court systems. So really, Jewish women from all over the world come to us, and we help about 1,000 Jewish women and their families each year.
Amy, where is Bat Melech located?
So we have 2 shelters and a number of transitional homes. All are currently in Israel, one located in Jerusalem and another one in central Israel. Women come to us from North America, England, South Africa, Italy, really all over the place. But currently the services are offered within Israel. And then we have legal departments and hotlines and services that are more virtual and can be accessed from any part of the world.
Why would a woman from the United States come to Israel for shelter?
Excellent question. A number of answers. One, sometimes they're married to an Israeli husband, and so for custody reasons, they're living there or they're stuck there, or whatever it may be. Another is on vacation. A lot of people will come for a sabbatical year or a vacation, and it's specifically during those times when these women are most vulnerable and cut off from their networks and susceptible to this type of treatment and abuse. And a third reason, which is sociologically interesting, is that a lot of American Jews have this mentality that Israel is Disneyland of sorts. And so even if there are challenges at home, by going to Israel, whether alone or with their families, that it will all of a sudden be a panacea and solve everything. And it's not the case, but still with these women, these 2, we open our doors and do what we can to help them.
Amy, it's interesting that you're talking about American views on Israel. I also think there's sometimes a stereotype that abuse doesn't exist in the Jewish community. Can you tell us a little bit about the statistics?
Sure. So across all religious groups, across all ethnic groups, the statistics of abuse hold approximately the same. However, sociologically, culturally, what we do with that abuse is very, very different. So in the Jewish community, the rates of reporting said abuse is much lower. Rather than waiting a period of 1 to 2 years, which is average for a non-Jewish woman to go to a shelter to seek help, Jewish women wait on average 7 years, which could be the emphasis on shalom bayit, on peace in the home. It's also possible that it's due to prospects for the children's education, the children's marital prospects, whether it's a religious home or a non-religious home. We have such a hush-hush mentality that actually November 25th, just later this month, is the International Day for Awareness for violence against women. And so kind of coincidentally, but in honor of this, Bat Melech just purchased our neighboring property in Jerusalem, and we will be able to double our capacity for the women we accept, as unfortunately there's historically been a wait list.
Wow, that's really hard to believe. And so Amy, tell me something. I mean, hard to believe in terms of it's so heartbreaking that there are women who are on a wait list who need to go to a shelter, and I'm assuming that means they don't have anywhere to go. Amy, what are you finding in terms of demographics? Is it a certain age group? Is it certain, is it Sephardim, Ashkenazim? Who's coming to you?
Sure. So I think one of the things that first hit me, I started off as a volunteer with Bat Melech before they brought me on board as staff, and just meeting women my own age. So Americans in their mid-20s who really had a very similar upbringing to me, but at one point our lives diverged. And so the women that are there come from all backgrounds. We have Ashkenazi and we have Sephardi. Because we're a kosher and Sabbath observant shelter, we do have Haredi and Hasidic women, but we also have secular women and traditional, and anybody who simply needs a kosher home. One of the things I found striking was just this past year, we had somebody from Israeli academia who was full-time staying in our shelter. And what I mean by that is this is a professor, somebody who commands respect, who lectures to her students, but who through a systematic process of emotional abuse was degraded and really had her self-esteem taken away from her. And so there's this idea that people who are well-educated and who are well-off are immune to the effects of abuse, and that's simply not true.
Amy, what do you think as a community, the Jewish community, could be doing in terms of helping women out?
Sure. To be involved on a number of different elements. So the first, of course, is education and awareness. We need to be aware of this issue, and the only way to do that is by speaking about it. By speaking about it, acknowledging that abuse does exist. The second part is educating in a preventative sense. And by that I mean, what does a healthy relationship look like? What does an unhealthy relationship look like, and when does it cross the line into abuse? And I'll be actually in New York this coming week giving a series of workshops on the signs of abuse and how to differentiate. And the third is in a very practical way by visiting, by volunteering, by funding initiatives like Melech that are every day in the trenches combating these issues.
All right, Amy Oppenheimer, thank you so much for joining us on JVS.
Thank you, and to learn more, please check out batmelech.org.